Hello, my name is Mr. Anderson. I am one of the math teachers here at Ames High. I will be teaching Algebra 1A/1B this year. This course will be taught during my school day during the periods of 3rd, 4th, and 5th period. My room is located in the basement, room B9. My office hours where students can get help from me are for the 20 minutes before school starts, during 7th period, and after school until 4, unless I have prior engagements at the end of the day. The best way to get a hold of me is through email, which is cole.anderson@ames.k12.ia.us. This course is set up for your students, where we'll be going at their pace and spending the time that they need on certain concepts. If we need to take longer on certain things, we will. But that'll be deemed by how they perform on certain quizzes and tests. We'll be covering topics like order of operation, algebraic expressions and equations, polynomials, properties of algebra, proportions, measures of center, and linear functions. We'll be using the text McGraw-Hill Algebra 1 Common Core Edition, which they will have online access to, unless they would like a hard copy textbook, which they can get from me at their leisure. They need a notebook. They'll need a pencil or a pen. I prefer they use a pencil because it's math class and we'll make mistakes, so it's easier to erase those mistakes that way. They will need a calculator for this class. I will have some in my class that they can borrow during class time, but they will not be rented out outside of class, so it would be easier if they had their own personal one to use for their homework. They can purchase a very cheap calculator at Walmart for under $10 for like a TI 30. Also, something helpful would be a binder. We'll be giving them packets that have 3-hole punched already, and so if they have a binder, they can keep their stuff organized because we'll be using that for our notes and for our help sheets for tests and quizzes. My expectations for this course are for the students to be respectful, be on time, be positive, show all their work, which is very important, hand in work complete and on time, and have a sense of humor, which helps our classroom environment. If a student is absent, please make sure that they are responsible and come talk to me to make sure that they understand what they need to make up for the time that they've missed. If they know prior to being gone that they're going to be gone, then please have them come talk to me and we can get them set up so that they don't get behind. If they are sick, then when they get back, please have them come talk to me so that we can get them caught up. If they miss a test or a quiz, we need to make sure that we stay on top of that and get them caught up and set up a time so that they can make that up as soon as possible. That's the biggest pitfall that I see as a teacher, is that kids miss their tests or quizzes and then they forget about them and then they perform poorly on them since it was so far away since they last saw that content. My policies on tardies, cell phones, hats, and dress code align with the Ames High School rules, and I will deal with those instances accordingly to those rules. Computers are a privilege. We will be using computers in our classroom as long as they have their textbooks in them. But if students are misusing their computers during class, they will be first asked to close their books or close their computers, and they will be asked to go get a book to use for the remainder of class. If they continue to misuse their computer during class, then I will go ask the computer consultants or the administration to have their computer shut down for a given time deemed by the office. Homework will be given each day unless there is a test or a quiz. Homework is graded on completion and will be worth 2 points every time I assign a homework. 2 points means that they turned it in on time and it was fully complete and they showed all their work. If they received a 1, that means that it was handed in on time, but it wasn't fully completed, or they just missed some problems, or they didn't show their work. If they got a 0 for a homework assignment, then that means that it was late and they did not hand it in. If a student received a 1 or a 0, they have the opportunity to improve upon that grade if they hand that assignment back in complete, or just hand it in. If they were a 0, their maximum score possible is a 1. If they received a 1 the first time, then their maximum score is a 2. So they can go from 50% to 100%. Grading on tests and quizzes will be graded using a standards-based format, where each question will be worth 4 points. And each point value will mean something different. This is aligned with the grading scale as well. But 4 points means that your students knew exactly what to do and got the answer correct, showing all their work or having deep understanding, which is worth 100%. If a student got a 3, which is about 88%, they just made a minor mistake on a problem, but they understand the concept. We want all students to be able to make it to a 3 for each essential learning standard. If a student received a 2, that means the student didn't quite know what's going on, but they kind of were going in the right direction. This will be rewarded as a 65% for a grade, and a 1 means that they really didn't know what was going on, but they tried, and they will be rewarded with a 50%. If a student received a 0, that means they didn't do anything, so they will receive a 0% for that grade, or that problem. If students, or on quizzes, students will be given essential standards, and then also given the same essential standards on the tests. If a student receives a 4 for quizzes on an essential learning standard, they will be exempt from that question on the test. So if we have 3 quizzes and a student for problem number 1, objective 1A, gets a 4 each time, then that means that for the test, they do not have to answer problem number 1, objective 1A for that test. But if they do not remember that or keep track of that on their own, then they will still be responsible for doing that problem and be graded as such. If a student does poorly and scores below 50%, that student is able to retake that test or quiz. That student will only be able to receive up to 50% for the retake, but the requirement to retake is that the student needs to complete their guided practice note sheet and help sheet, and must discuss it with their teacher before they can set up a time to retake that test or quiz. Students scoring above 50% may not retake tests or quizzes. Grading evaluation will be aligned with the AHS Common Grade Scale. Grade distribution for this class, tests will be worth 50% of their grade. Quizzes will be worth 35% of their grade, and homework will be worth 15%. This all will account for 85% of their final grade, as 15% will count for the semester exam. Students caught cheating on tests or quizzes will be given an immediate 0 for that test or quiz, and that cannot be changed under any circumstances. Anything that is changed, or anything that needs to be changed in the syllabus, can be changed without further notice or advance notice to anyone by the instructor. My math website for the students where all their homework and videos for notes are located is given by this address: sites.google.com/a/ames.k12.ia.us/mr/s-math-website/ It is a website that if you go to Algebra 1A tab or 1B tab, depending on which semester you're in, and click on the drop-down menu, you will find there's a calendar for assignments, which you can keep track and keep up to date on what is due in my class. There are a note tab where I will post videos of the notes that a student took during a certain period or part of our chapter, so students can go back and relook at their notes if they need help or need to review. And then also there is a help page that will give the students resources to help them find additional videos or help to make sure that they understand concepts. Thank you and have a good day.